So in this module, we are talking about maximum power point tracking for a solar PV system. In this specific video, let's try to derive the condition for MPPT, right? What is the condition on the current and voltage values such that we extract maximum power from the solar photovoltaic module. So before we jump to that, let us start with very basic concept of maximum power extraction. In a linear circuit, in a linear DC circuit which has DC voltage, a source resistance, and this combination is feeding a load resistance, right? This problem we might already be aware of, right? So in this case, if we connect this load to this source combination which has a source and a resistance, what is the condition for PL to be maximum, right? That is the question. What is the condition such that the load power is maximum? So how do we do it? Yeah, we write what is the expression for PL, right? VDC upon RS plus RL squared RL, and then we can do dPABL by DRL by 0, which will give us the condition wherein the load power is maximum, and that condition, as all of us may already know about, it is RL is equal to RS, right? This is called as maximum power transfer theorem, isn't it? How does this look on an IV graph? So if I have current versus, if I plot current versus voltage, the source characteristics, if I plot on this is, let's say, the source characteristics, right? If I plot VT versus IS, this is how it's going to look like. Sorry. Right? This is the source characteristics, right? So as the if you see at zero current, the voltage is equal to VDC, right? And when if the voltage VT is 0, then the current flowing is VDC by RS. So this is the source characteristics, and the load characteristics is something like this. This is the load characteristics, right? It's just a resistance. So if I call this as the current and this as the voltage, right, you can see it will have a positive slope. On the other hand, source characteristic has a negative slope. So what was the maximum power condition? The maximum power condition was RL is equal to RS. If you see here, let me call this angle as alpha and this angle as beta, then you can see that tan beta is nothing but the resistance of the load, and tan alpha is nothing but resistance of the source, and thus the condition here can also be rewritten as alpha is equal to beta, where alpha beta are the angle shown in this IV characteristics. So this sort of gives us an idea as to if we have a simple circuit which has a voltage source and a resistance, then at which point should we operate, or at what value of load resistance should we connect to get the maximum power? In general, the sources are, so this is an example of a linear source, but it may not be necessary, right? There may be possibility that the source may not be a linear source. So if you take a generic example, then you may have, let's say, a non-linear curve, which is something like this, right? So what can we do is, if we are, let's say, interested at a point A in this graph, then we can use the and if you are interested in point A and we are only interested in investigating to the area which is very close to point A, let's say a small area around point A, if this is what we are interested in, then we can always represent this graph as a straight line or as a linear circuit whose equation can be written using Taylor series expansion only till the first term, or rather the first derivative term, only the first derivative term, right? How would it look like? It will look like f of x is given by f at a plus the derivative of f at a into x minus a, right? If y-axis is f and this is a. So what does it, sorry, if y-axis is f of x, x is x. So what does it say? It says that even if you have a nonlinear curve, if you are interested in understanding the behavior of that curve in a small region around it, then you can linearize it, right? In other words, if you have a nonlinear curve, you can still represent it as a series combination of a voltage source and a resistance, wherein this voltage source and resistance combination is being represented by this straight line. Right? Why we talked about this this curve? Because our solar photovoltaic curve also is not a straight line. It looks something similar to this one. So let us plot let's go to the solar photovoltaic, which is our actual aim. So if I plot the current versus voltage of a solar photovoltaic panel, this is how it looks like, right? Let me just try to bring it a little bit down. And now if you have so this is the characteristics of a panel. Now you want to connect a load resistance RL and we want to extract the maximum possible power from this panel. So let's say this is the load resistance that I am connecting. So value is given by RL. So I have both source characteristics and load characteristics plotted on this common IV curve. Now what is the condition of maximum power transfer? The condition of maximum power transfer is that the load resistance should be equal to the Thevenin equivalent resistance of the source at that point. So in this case, if you see, if this is the load resistance, the system is operating at this point A. So what I am interested in is, in this nearby region, am I operating at the maximum power? Right? Am I operating at the maximum power at point A? So for example, if I go a little bit left on A, would my power reduce? If I go a little bit right on A, if my power reduces, that I know that at A I was at maximum power. So we have already seen what is the condition. The condition is straightforward. The angle alpha should be equal to angle beta, or you can write in terms of the resistances. So the load resistance should be equal to the source resistance at this point A. What is the source resistance of this point A? Which is nothing but the slope of this line of the tangent, which is nothing but slope of IV characteristics, right? So let's say, let me call it this as R of PV, right, at point A. Now let me, so what is RL? RL is nothing but tan of alpha, and this is nothing but tan of, sorry, I'm writing other way around. RL is tan of beta and source resistance is tan of alpha. What is tan of beta? Tan of beta is nothing but, if this point I call it as I1 comma V1, right, this is the point of operation, then tan of beta is V1 upon I1. What is tan of alpha? Tan of alpha is nothing but the slope which is, and if you see alpha is less than 90, so it has to be a positive value. It is nothing but dv by di at I1 comma V1, right? This term is going to be negative because the slope is negative, but alpha is less than 90, and therefore we put a negative sign here, right? So that the right hand side also becomes positive quantity. So this is the condition, which is essentially nothing more than tan alpha is equal to tan beta. If I rewrite this condition, it gives me a V1 upon I1 plus del V upon del I at I1 comma V1 is equal to 0. This del V upon del I, you can also call it as a incremental resistance, right? It's a small signal resistance or incremental resistance, and this is the condition for maximum power transfer or maximum power point tracking. So yeah, in future we would be utilizing this condition to develop our control algorithms, so that we can reach at this point A wherein alpha becomes equal to beta. So for example, if I use some different value of RL, let's say I use a very low value of RL, let's say I use this RL1, right? Then in that case, you see this angle alpha is almost 90 degree, whereas beta is really small. Again, if you talk about a very a large value of load resistance RL2, then you can see that the angle alpha is going to be very, very small, but then the angle beta is almost tending towards 90 degrees. So somewhere in between RL1 and RL2, you will have a RL3 wherein this condition would be met, and that is going to be the point of maximum operation. The other thing, now one thing we discussed is in this small vicinity around A, it ensures that if you move little bit left of A, the power reduces. If you move little bit right of A, the power reduces, and therefore A is the point where you have maximum power. If you recall, let me draw P versus V graph. If you remember that, this is how it looks like, right? So if I'm able to, let me redraw. So if I'm able to figure out this point A in this small vicinity, if I go either direction, the power reduces. That means I am at the maximum power, right? But we are talking about only small, we call it at local maxima. If you remember, we discussed about partial shading, where you may have a P versus V graph, something like this, right? Wherein there would be point A here, let me call it A1, which is a local maxima, as well as there's a point A2, which is also local maxima. So if you see this condition, let me call it condition number 1, this condition gets satisfied for both A1 as well as A2. That means they are local maxima. But then we have to do something additional to really narrow down to which out of these A1 and A2 is actually a global maxima. So in our next video, let's start talking about the simpler situation, which is case A, wherein there is only one maxima, which is the local maxima and which is also the global maxima, where we would be utilizing condition 1 to find it. Subsequently, if we do have additional time in the course, we would talk about maybe some example as to how do we find the global maxima for case B.